So, everyone's favorite man-child is at it again.
Feminism isn't needed in the Western world. Or so that's what a lot of you fucking idiots keep saying. If you aren't anti-feminist, you might want to click away from this video, because you're about to get fucking decimated.
I think that's probably the biggest word I've ever heard Onision use. Brushing up on your 7th grade vocabulary? The real shame here is that he didn't even use it correctly. Anyway, when I first saw this video, I tried to respond to it seriously. I went through and refuted his specific claims on either logical or factual grounds like several others have already done. And kudos to you folks for having the stomach. But when I went back and reviewed my response, something just didn't sit right with me. Something was off about it. Like I had given it more thought than this fucking idiot was deserving of. And then it hit me. We really had all gone too far. You don't need to go through this entire video and refute his specific claims, because the starting premise is all you need. The starting premise is the foundation of all the other points that he's trying to make, and aside from being factually incorrect, this starting premise is why his points are absolute shit.
Feminism is the advocacy of women's rights on the grounds of political, social, and economic equality to men. Keyword, equality.
One more time.
Feminism is the advocacy of women's rights on the grounds of political, social, and
No, feminism is not just a word that can be easily defined with a dictionary definition, much in the same way that Christianity or Islam cannot be easily defined with a dictionary definition.
Now, the reason I have to point this out is because people say stupid shit like egalitarianism is better than feminism, even though it's basically the same thing. They both call for equal rights.
One says advocacy of women's rights, and the other says all people are equal. The difference should be blatantly obvious. But here's the real problem with pointing to the dictionary in order to define a belief system. These definitions don't account for the real-world results of the collections of ideological positions associated with these belief systems. In order to understand what these belief systems actually mean, you have to look at what practitioners of these belief systems do and say in the real world. And with that in mind, this series of statements from Onision's video are what stuck out to me the most.
This is the definition, and the main argument people have against it is that feminists do not follow this definition. So I ran a fucking poll, and over 1,000 people voted. 69% of feminists believe that women are equal to men. So the mass majority of feminists follow the fucking definition of feminism. And your main argument against feminism is that feminists don't fit the definition. You should be humiliated for ever standing against feminists, the mass majority of which have literally been supporting exactly the fucking message I've been arguing all this time.
Let's just ignore the fact that this is a Twitter poll of Onision's own followers and let him have the phrasing of the question and the results that he got. The question he asked does not in itself fit with the definition of feminism that he has chosen. When you say,
feminism is the advocacy of women's rights on the grounds of political, social, and economic equality to men. Keyword, equality.
You frame the question as saying men and women are equal when, according to the definition that you're clinging to and the points you make throughout the rest of the video, you don't actually believe that. You are implying that you don't think women are equal to men, that we currently live under a system in which women are oppressed and which they are unable to get out from under this on their own without some kind of unifying social movement holding their hand. In other words, you believe women are inferior, Onision, and I do believe that this is consistent with much of your past behavior, like the time you filmed one of your girlfriends having a mental breakdown and put it on the internet because she wouldn't behave the way you wanted her to. And no, MGTOWs in the audience, this is not me white knighting, this is literal sociopathic behavior. This is something a fucking nutcase would do.
I want to be able to talk. I want people to realize that he's been telling people lies.
I don't care if it's a man doing it to a woman, or a woman doing it to a man, or a man and a man, or a woman and a woman, or whatever combination you want. That's fucked up. Or how about that very publicly visible Twitter argument you had with your current wife? Lainey, as Onision calls her, is actually named Taylor, and a few years back, one Mr. Repsion did a great video on Onision's history of fucking underage girls and generally being a manipulative, megalomaniacal fucking cunt. So at this point you may be thinking, why are you dredging all this stuff up? What does this have to do with Onision's feminism video? Well, as I said a couple minutes ago, you believe women are inferior, Onision. I am of the opinion that all of this manipulative behavior explains why Onision would glom on to this definition of feminism, and so publicly try to push it. His rampant egomania and psychological projection causes him to believe that this is how society is, when really this is just how Onision is. And at the same time, it gives him an easy way to manipulate his teenage girl followers and present himself as some kind of good guy male savior, the one good man, when really he's nothing more than a perfect example of what a decent human being shouldn't act like. Need I remind everyone that this is someone who tried to start a cult in his younger years and arguably runs one now. So I'm inclined to believe that this video he's made about feminism is not actually about advocating for gender equality. This is about maintaining his fan base of mostly impressionable teenage girls. So I propose that we flip the script on this fucking asshole. Tweet the hashtag #DebateNonFeminists at Onision. I've also created a Twitter poll with the question, should Onision debate non-feminists in an on-air Google Hangout? This poll is linked in the description. If you have a Twitter account, go vote in it. I don't want to go speaking for any of the big YouTubers without getting a chance to talk to them, but I'm confident anyone in this community could fucking crush him. Maybe it could even be a panel debate. Tweet it at whoever else you can think of. Tweet it to your friends. Tweet it to other big YouTubers. I don't care. Get this some attention. If Onision acknowledges it, he makes a fool of himself. If he doesn't acknowledge it, he makes a fool of himself. And maybe his stupid followers won't care, but at least it would be yet another message to the world about what kind of person this Jim Jones-looking motherfucker is. Just imagine the prospect of getting Onision into a live stream debate on feminism with someone who actually knows what they're talking about. Or failing that, at least being able to laugh at him when he refuses. This lolcow's got a lot of milk left. Oh, and Greg, if you're listening, there's something else I'd like you to do for me. If you enjoy my content, consider making a donation. If you can't or don't want to donate, you can still help me out by liking and sharing this video and subscribing to my channel. Also check out my previous video. Thanks for watching.